Probability. Axiomatic approach to probability. What is its definition? Let us be the sample space of a random experiment. The probability P is a real valued function whose domain is the power set of S and range is the interval close 0 to 1, satisfying the following axioms. Number 1, for any event E, the probability of E is greater or equal to 0. Second, probability of event, if event is the sample space S, PS is equal to 1. And if E and F are two mutually exclusive events, then probability of E union F is equal to P of E plus P of F. So these are three axioms, and that's the definition. We'll start from that. So from this, we get this result. If we take event F as null set, impossible event, then E and F are two mutually exclusive events, as E intersection null set is null set. So from this third axiom, P of E union F gives you P of E is equal to P of E plus P of null set phi. So P of E is equal to P of E plus P of phi. That gives us P of null set is equal to 0. Probability of impossible event is 0. So from here we start based on this axiomatic approach to probability. Now, another result, let S be the sample space of a random experiment containing all possible outcomes. Let's say omega 1, omega 2, omega n. Sample space is this. So P of omega I, for each omega I belonging to sample space S. Probability is from 0 to 1, close 0 to close 1. For notational convenience, elementary event, that's how we write event in the curly bracket, writing all the elements, sample points. So for notational convenience, elementary event corresponding to outcome this, for each omega I belonging to S is written as event omega I, just for notational convenience. So instead of writing this, we are writing this. Okay, here. So P of omega 1 plus P of omega 2 up to P of omega n will be equal to 1. At least one of the outcome will come. So if we perform the experiment, yeah. So for every event E, P of E is summation of all P of omega I, where omega I belongs to E. So if omega 1 comes, omega 2 comes, omega 3 comes, not comes. Actually, omega 1, omega 2, omega 3, let's say they are the elements of the set E, event E. So P of E is equal to P of omega 1 plus P of omega 2 plus P of omega 3, as they are all mutually exclusive elementary events. Every elementary event is mutually exclusive. Let's see this new NCERT example. So example, what is given? Let a sample space be S, omega 1 to omega 6. Which of the following assignments of probabilities to each outcome are valid? So outcomes are there, omega 1 to omega 6, and they have assigned the probabilities to each outcome, and we have to check the validity of them. So in condition, let's start with A. So condition 1, each P of omega I is positive and less than 1. So condition 1 is satisfied. Condition 2, sum of all of them, sum of all the probabilities P omega I is 1. So condition 2 is satisfied. Therefore, the assignment is valid. Let's check for the B. Everywhere it is less than 1, positive, or 0. So condition 1 is satisfied. and the sum is also equal to 1. So this assignment is also valid. Let's for C. Now here, this probability is negative, negative. So the assignment is not valid. Probability of each elementary event corresponding to elementary outcome, each outcome should be greater or equal to 0. Not valid. Here in D, it is 3 by 2 more than 1. Not valid. E, sum of them, condition 2 says it should be equal to 1, but it is 2.1. So assignment is not valid. Let's go ahead. Probability of equally likely outcomes. Equally likely outcomes. So if it's a fair experiment, then each outcome is a equally likely outcome. So let S be the sample space of a random experiment containing all possible outcomes. Sample space S. Let all the outcomes are equally likely to occur. That the chance of occurrence of each simple event, elementary event, must be same. Let's say it is equal to P. Summation should be equal to 1. So if I put the values P, 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 these are n elements, so it should be n times P equal to 1. So P is equal to 1 by n. Now let an event E is equal to this, in which we have, let's say, m outcomes, which are favorable to occurrence of event E. So event E is either this outcome or this outcome or. So event E is omega 1 union omega 2 to omega n, union. Any of the outcome occur, then event E occur. So as elementary events are mutually exclusive events, P of E will be equal to P of this omega 1, omega 2 union of them, and they are mutually exclusive, so this will be equal to P of omega 1 plus P of omega 2 up to P of omega n. So this is 1 by n plus 1 by n up to 1 by n m times. So P of E is equal to m by n. Let's start with now. Probability of an event in sample space of equally likely outcomes, the results for that results to remember. So let S be the sample space of a random experiment containing n possible outcomes, and each outcome is equally likely. N of S is equal to, let's say, n. An event E in sample space S is such that n of E is equal to m. We just proved this. Probability of occurrence of event E is m by n. That's the result to remember. Number of outcomes favorable to occurrence of event E divided by number of total possible outcome. And E, number of elements in E divided by number of elements in S. So that was the proof of that. Now we have to memorize this result. This is the result to remember. Probability of an event in sample space of equally likely outcomes. Now let's start this next article. Probability of event not E in sample space of equally likely outcomes. So let's S is the sample space. Now we can use the Venn diagram. Let's see the Venn diagram. So this is the universal set for this particular random experiment, n of sample space S. In this, that's the event E, the set E. So E dash is set S minus E. So this non-shaded region in S is your event not E, E dash. And we know that n of E dash is equal to n of S minus n of E. So we divided both sides by ns, we get n P of E dash is equal to 1 minus P of E. Probability of event not E is equal to 1 minus probability of event E. Now let's start. Next article, event E1 or E2. So probability of event E1 or E2 in sample space of equally likely outcomes. Let's say this sample space S. This is the event E1, and in general, we take the event E2 like this. That's in general. Now we know that N of E1 union E2. What is E1 union E2? This set from here to here. We have learned this in the sets, which is equal to N of E union E2 is equal to N of E1 plus N of E2 plus minus N of E1 intersection E2. Because this part is one time we have added in E1, one time we have added in E2, and we need only once. So now we divided both sides by NS. We get probability of event E1 or E2, which is E1 union E2, is equals to probability of E1 plus probability of E2 minus probability of event E1 intersection E2. Now, if events E1 and E2 are mutually exclusive events, then N of E1 intersection E2 is 0. That's the condition for the mutually exclusiveness. So, in the Venn diagram, E1 and E2 are like this, no common reason there. So, probability of E1 intersection E2 will be equal to 0. So, we get this result if events E1 and E2 are mutually exclusive events. Probability of E1 union E2 is equal to probability of E1 plus probability of E2 if two events E1 and E2 are mutually exclusive result. So that's a result in general, and this is for two mutually exclusive events in a sample space of equally likely outcomes. So these are the results we have discussed so far. Probability of event E in a sample space of equally likely outcome, probability of non-occurrence of event E, probability of occurrence of event E1 or E2. Now this event E1 or E2 is actually what? Occurrence of at least one of E1 and E2. So that's a result we just discussed. So we remember this result. And for mutually exclusive events, that's the result. So result to memorize. Very important part is how do you write that event? You read the events properly, and what does this symbol mean? Event E1 union E2 is either we say event E1 or E2, or we can say occurrence of at least one of event E1 and E2. So remember these results, basic results. Now let's see some more events. Result for probability of occurrence of event E1 not E2. So if you look at this from the Venn diagram, event E1 not E2 means outcomes which are favorable for occurrence of E1 but not for E2. So is this reason? Blue shade, right? And in language we say occurrence of only E1 and not E2. Symbolically, we write this event E1 minus E2. We discussed in the events वाला portion में हमने discuss किया था इसको. So probability of E1 minus E2, which is event E1 not E2, is only this reason, and you can check yourself that this is N of E in this one, N of E1 minus N of E1 intersection E2 divided by NS will give you this result. So it's better you remember how the results are proved, how this result is reached. Simple use of Venn diagram. That's very convenient. So probability of occurrence of event E1 not E2. Probability of occurrence of event exactly one of E1 and E2. What is the meaning of that? Two events are there, E1 and E2. Exactly one occur. So exactly one means either this part or this part, single shade region, right? Blue one and this pink one. This maroonish one is not there. So either outcome is from here or from here, which is, this is, if you read it, E1 intersection E2 dash. E1 is occurrence of E, E2 dash is non-occurrence of E2. Means exactly 1. E1 is occurring, not E2. So E1 not E2 from this part. From here, this is wrong. Remove this dash from here. E1 dash intersection E2 dash. Occurrence of E2 not E1. So either this or this. Either this region, blue one, or this pink one. So that is equals to n of E1 plus n of E2 minus 2 times n of E1 intersection E2. This region is not required at all. So one time it is in E1, one time is it E2, here added here. So we don't need it at all. So 2 times we subtract and divide by ns, we get this result. So event exactly one of E1 and E2. Probability of occurrence of this event. So it is convenient to use the Venn diagram, how to read that event, and in language, what does it say? Then we look for the probability of occurrence of that event. Now let's look at this. Probability of occurrence of event neither E1 nor E2 means no, this region other than this shaded region, right? So what will be equal to this? The result, symbolically we'll write E1 union E2 dash, that is the non-occurrence of event E1 or E2. So probability of that is 1 minus probability of E1 union E2. I take this event E, so this is P of E dash, 1 minus P of E. And we got this result from E1 union E2. We put the value here, we get this. So it is convenient to use Venn diagram. We'll remember that. Now let's go to the NCERT examples. What does they say? So let's comprehend this. One card is drawn from a well-shuffled deck of 52 cards. Okay. If each outcome is equally likely, calculate the probability that the card will be a diamond, a black card. Okay, 5 questions are there. Let's start. So when a card is drawn from a well-shuffled deck of 52 cards, the number of possible outcomes is 52, 52C1. So we write this event. So what is this event? Let's say symbolically I'm writing event A. The card drawn is a diamond. The card drawn is a diamond. So the favorable outcome in the game of the cards, the number of diamonds are 13. So probability of occurrence of event A, favorable outcome for occurrence of a diamond is 13. Total outcomes are 52. N of A divided by N of S, 1 by 4. Not an ace. Second question. So let's assume the event that card drawn is an ace, then not occurrence of ace will be, if this event is B, that will be B dash. So P of B dash will be equal to 1 minus PB. PB is what? Number of aces divided by total number of cases. So 1 minus 4 upon 52. Number of aces in a game of cards, 52 cards, are 4. So you get your answer, 12 by 13. Third part. The card drawn is a black card. So we write the event. Card drawn is black card. So how many black cards are there? 52. So number of elements in event C are 62. 26. So P of C is 26 upon 52. Event D, not a diamond. So same way, if I take event A, जो यहाँ पे हमने किया था, card A is diamond, उसका probability 1 by 4 था. Not A means A dash, that will be 1 minus P A, 3 by 4. Not a black card, So C dash, okay, P of not C, which is P of C dash 1 minus PC is equal to half. Simple questions. Let's see next example. Let's comprehend. A bag contains 9 discs, of which 4 are red, 3 are blue, and 2 are yellow. The discs are similar in shape and size. Now, a disc is drawn at random from the bag. So that's our random experiment. A disc is drawn from 9 discs, out of which 4 are red, 3 blue, 2 yellow. Calculate the probability that it is, question number 1, red, yellow, blue, not blue, either red or yellow. Actually, there is a mistake, slight mistake in this question. Not mistake in the question, but in the, like they have written it here in the either red or yellow, actually it is blue. So we will consider it blue here and then we'll solve. So 9C1 is the sample space, number of elements in the sample space. Out of 9, one disk is selected. So NS is 7. Now let's describe the events A, B, C. A, the disk drawn is red. B, yellow. C, it is blue. Now, question number 1 in this. So 4 disk, 4C1, N of A is equal to 4. Favorable for occurrence of a red disk. So probability of A is equal to 4 by 9. Similarly, probability of occurrence of yellow, 2 yellow. So P of B is equal to 2 by 9. Blue, 3. P of C is equal to 3 by 9, 1 by 3. Not blue, that is occurrence of event not C. So P of not C is equal to 1 minus PC, which is 1 minus 1 by 3 equal to 2 by 3. So they have actually written either red or yellow, but they have taken the set A and C, means occurrence of red and blue. So right, so I've checked it here. It is now we have corrected it to be blue. Now A and C are mutually exclusive event. Now this event A or C is A union C. So we have A union C, which is P of A plus P of C, because A and C are mutually exclusive event. Why mutually exclusive? If red comes, then yellow cannot come. If yellow comes, then red cannot come. And that's our answer. 4 by 9 plus 1 by 3 is equal to 7 by 9. Next example. 2 students, Anil and Ashima, appeared in an examination. Okay. The probability that Anil will qualify the examination is 0.05. Ashima will qualify 0.10. Both will qualify is 0.02. Now you have to find the probability of these 3 events here. The 3 questions are given here. In question number 1, A part, both Anil and Ashima will not qualify the examination. Okay, so let's start. So first we write the event which is given. Anil will qualify the examination. So let's write qualifying the examination of Anil is A, E. F, Ashima will qualify. So P of E is 0.05. Ashima qualify. So P of F is equal to 0.10. And both qualify. Anil qualifies and Ashima qualifies. So P of E intersection F is 0.02. Now what is the event? जिसका हमसे probability पूछा है. Both Anil and Ashima will not qualify the examination. So none of them qualify. Means Anil does not qualify and Ashima does not qualify. Right? So event, किस event का probability पूछा है? E dash intersection F dash. Now from De Morgan's law, we know that this is equal to E union F whole dash, complement of the event E, set E union F. So probability of this is equal to P of E plus P of F minus P of intersection F. We know the probability of E union F. If I take this is event A, so this event is P of A dash. So 1 minus PA means occurrence of this event is equals to 1 minus P of E union F, which is 1 minus, you just calculate the value here, just put the values here, 0.87. So in language, if you see otherwise also, Both will not qualify, means none of them qualify. Now A union B gives us at least one occurrence of one of A and B. So E union F, at least one of Anil and Ashima qualify. Both will not qualify means non-occurrence of that. So 1 minus P of E union F. Now let's look at the second part. At least one of them will not qualify. At least one of them will not qualify. Which is both of them will qualify. 1 minus non-occurrence of both of them will qualify. Isn't it? So that is 1 minus P of A intersection E intersection F, which is 0.02. That's your answer. C part, only one of them will qualify. Only one of them. So one qualify, other does not qualify. Isn't it? So how can that occur? So Anil qualify, Ashima fails, or Anil fails and Ashima qualify. So occurrence of this event or occurrence of this event. So this is E intersection F dash. This event Anil will not qualify and Ashima will qualify is E dash intersection F. Right? And either this can happen or this can happen. So they are mutually exclusive events. So only one of them will qualify. Probability of occurrence of this is this or this. P of A union B. P of A union B, if A and B are mutually exclusive, P of A plus P of B. Right? A, B. And P of E intersection F dashes E but not F. So P of E minus P of E intersection F. From Venn diagram we just learned. If there is a confusion, you can draw the Venn diagram and can check them easily. So similarly this, we get the answer, just put the values. Simple. Now look at the next example. Now a committee of 2 persons is selected from 2 men and 2 women. So what is the random experiment? A committee of 2 persons is selected from 2 men and 2 women. That's our random experiment. And what is asked? What is the probability that the committee will have A, option A is no men. In option B, they have asked the committee will have 1 man. And on question number C, they have asked the committee will have 2 men. So let's start. So random experiment is 2 persons out of 4 persons. So 4C2 is N of S. Now no man in committee of 2 means that there will be 2 women in the committee. So out of 2 women, number of ways of selection of 2, that is 1 way. 2C2 is equal to 1. So what is the favorable outcome for the occurrence of this event? Which event? Committee will have no man. 2C2 upon 4C2, just put the values, you get the answer. Next, 1 man. Now 1 man in the committee means there is 1 woman and there is 1 man. So 1 man out of 2, number of ways of selection 2C1. 1 woman out of 2, 2C1. So this and this, principle of multiplication of counting. So together they can be selected 2C1 into 2C1 ways. So that's the favorable outcomes. So probability of 1 man is 2C1 into 2C1 upon sample space 4C2. Answer is 2 by 3. Similarly, 2 men, 2 out of 2, 2C2. Hence, 2 men is 2C2 upon 4C2. That is equal to 1 by 6. So based upon permutation combination. But just remember, we are not looking for the different outcomes. We are looking for the all possible outcomes everywhere in probability and favorable outcome for occurrence of an event. Let's see next example. Let's comprehend what is given. On her vacations, Veena visits 4 cities A, B, C, and D in a random order. So that's the random experiment. Veena visits 4 cities in a random order. Now, what is the probability that she visits A before B, A before B, and B and B before C? So one by one, we will look at them. So let's start. So first, sample space. What is the sample space? The number of arrangements, which are the orders, in which Veena can visit 4 cities, A, B, C, D, and that is 4 at 4 places, right? So 4 factorial, which is equal to 24. So n of s is 24. Now, A before B, that's the occurrence of event E. Let's say describe this event E, A before B. Now, before that, we have to check whether they are equally likely or not. Yeah. So the number of elements in the sample space of this experiment is 24. All of these outcomes are considered to be equally likely. A sample space for the experiment is like all these possible cases we have written. Actually, no need for that for the first question, but we are writing that. So she visits A before B. That's the event. Let it denote by E. Now you can check from this whatever all possible ways you have written. There are 24. That's a news number, right? But we can check that here from directly from this tabular form of representation of an event or set. So this is 12 upon 24. But if you look at this other way, in half of the cases, A will be before B, and in half cases, B will be before A. So half means 24. Out 24 ka half, 12. The probability will be 12 upon 24 equal to half. Now A before B and B before C. So favorable from this occurrence of this event, Veena visits A before B and B before C. You can check from this, it is 4 here, right? And there is another way if you use permutation and combination. How? So 4 places. So A before B and B before C. So if I put A here, B here, and C here. So A, B, C, A before B and B before C. So I have to just put D somewhere here now. That will give you all possible cases, right? And that's the order in this order. So D can be at one place out of 4, 4C1, which will give us total number of cases in which Veena visits A before B and B before C, 4C1. So n of f is 4. 4 upon 24 is equal to 1 by 6, the answer. Is that clear? Yeah. So now you can check other ways also, other parts of these all. Third, fourth, fifth, try. And if you're not able to solve them, just talk to me. You can WhatsApp me on my number. Now let's see the next question. Find the probability that when a hand of 7 cards is drawn from a well-shuffled deck of 52 cards. And in that they have 3 questions. It contains all kings, 3 kings, at least 3 kings. So what is the random experiment? 7 cards out of 52 cards. So sample space will be 52C7, right? Now out of these 7, the event is all kings are there. Means 4C4 is the number of ways we can select 4 kings out of 4. And rest 3 cards can be any 3 cards out of other left 48 cards. So 48C3. So for the occurrence of event 7 cards contains all kings is 4C4 into 48C3. So probability NA upon NS, which comes out 1 upon 7735. So it contains 3 kings. So what will that? Out of 4, select 3. And then rest remaining cards, 48. and fourth king is not required. And how many cards you need now? 4. So 3 are king and 4 are other cards, which is one king is not there. So 48c4. So probability of occurrence of 3 kings in 7 cards is 4c3 into 48c4 upon 52c7. Now at least 3 king. Third question. So at least 3 kings mean either they are 3 king or they are 4 king. At least 3 king means 3 kings or 4 kings. And this event, if I take A event, this event B event, so A or B and A and B events are mutually exclusive. If there are 3 kings, there cannot be 4 kings. If there are 4 kings, there cannot be 3 kings. So that would be equal to P of A plus P of B. P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B if A and B are mutually exclusive events. We just put the values. We just check them in question number 1 and 2. We get the answer. Next. Now, if A, B, C are 3 events associated with a random experiment, then prove that this P of A union B union C is equal to P of A plus P of B plus P of C minus P of A intersection B minus P of A intersection C minus P of B intersection C plus P of A intersection B intersection C. So there is one method which is obviously from the Venn diagram. We can solve that. Yeah, but let's see other method also. So it is extension, right? One event and one event and one event, 3 events. So if I take these 2 events as one event, E event, which is B union C. So this will be reduced to P of A union E, right? And this will be equal to P of A plus P of E minus P of A intersection E. Now P of E is equal to P of B union C, which is P of B plus P of C minus P of B intersection C. Simple. Also, A intersection E is A intersection B union C. Now we have studied in the sets that A intersection B union C is equal to A intersection B union A intersection C, which we call distribution property of intersection of sets over the union. So P of A intersection E will be equal to this union this, so this plus this minus P of A intersection B intersection A intersection C, which is this is A intersection B intersection C. So we got the value of P of A intersection E here in terms of A, B, C. Just club them, we get S. So from 2 events, we have extended to now 3 events. And that's how we approach. One method. The second method we will discuss later on. Yep. So that's your NCERT examples. Let's go ahead. What is the next question? In a relay race, there are 5 teams, A, B, C, D, E. Okay. Now, question number A, what is the probability that A, B, C finish first, second, and third respectively? So, relay race is there, 5 teams, so 5 positions, right? And it is clearly written here, assume that all finishing orders are equal likely. So, all finishing order can be A, B, C, D, E, F, B, A, C, D, E, F, right? So 5 at 5 places, and the random experiment is relay race, and the outcomes are of the relay race, one of the order A, B, C, D, E or B, C, D, A. So 5 object, different object at 5 different places. So N of S will be equal to 5 factorial, right? Now look at this event. They have used a different method. So the method I was using is, so 5 factorial is your sample space, right? And ABC finishes first, second, and third. That will be one method. ABC at first, second, third, and at two places, fourth place, 2 D or E can be arranged in 2 factorial ways. So my answer is this, which is 1 by 60. Now, what they have written, if we consider sample space consisting of all finishing order in first 3 places, we will have 5P3, which is 60 points, each with a probability of 1 by 60. So ABC finish first, second, and third respectively. Then there is only one finishing order for this ABC. ABC finishes first, second, third, 1 by 60. A little bit confusing, I think. Why we are talking about like that? Huh? The method is correct, but why to keep it simple now? So sample space 5 factorial elements in the sample space. Favorable for this outcome 2 factorial, which is equal to 1 by 60. That's it. Okay, let's look at the second. What is the probability that A, B, and C are first 3 to finish in any order? Now, A, B, C are first 3 to finish in any order. So if I go by simple method, the 5 factorial of sample space, and A, B, C are first 3 to finish. So they are at first 3 places, so 3 factorial. And for next 2 positions, 2 factorial. That should be the answer. Let's check. So same way. I find this language a bit complicated. For me, simple method is this much. So 3 factorial into 2 factorial upon 5 factorial, which is 1 by 10. I to make the things complicated. And subject is so simple, straight. Now let's go ahead. Probability of event E1 or E2 or E3 in a sample space of equally likely outcomes. So sample spaces, now we are taking 3 events. So that's the way in general we take 3 events, even E1, E2, E3. So sample space of equally likely outcome. And this event E1 or E2 or E3 is E1 union E2 union E3. So for that, n of E1 union E2 E3 is equal to this from the set theory, right? Divided by ns, we get this result. We just proved that in the, I think, example 16. So simple method using the Venn diagram. Now if the set of events E1, E2, E3 are mutually exclusive events, then they are like that. And P of E union E2 union E3 will be equal to P of E1 plus P of E2 plus P of E3. So results, remember. So event E1 union E2 union E3 is event E1 or E2 or E3, and we can say this event is occurrence of at least one of E1, E2 and E3. And that is equal to this. So result to remember. Mutually exclusive, then this is the result to remember. Yep. So now the NCERT examples are clear. Now next we will start with the NCERT exemplars. Exemplar book से हम लोग questions करेंगे. Then we will discuss the problems from NCERT, JEE Main and JEE Advanced from the class 11th. Thank you.